Hey y'all, so it's Money Monday, and as promised, I'm going to share with you how I got $100,000 profit on the sale of my first house. So, first things first is always starting with how you buy a home. Whenever you're looking for a house, you need to look at what characteristics you need it to have. And so for me, I was looking for a house that would be affordable for me and my daughter, but I wanted to be able to rent it out later. And in my case, I ended up selling it for just a huge profit later. But I had an option. I would have made great profits with renting it or with selling it. And so you definitely want to be able to put yourself in that position. So you want to buy with the end in mind of how you're going to get out of it later. So some people call this your exit plan or your exit strategy. You just need to have that in place. So what I did was I looked for a single family home because I knew those would sell for a higher profit. So I got a single family house. I made sure it was at least 3 bedrooms, and I tried to get 2 baths, but I ended up with only 1.5 bath. And so it was all right because I was also in a up and coming neighborhood, so to speak. I was in Norfolk, Virginia. So those of you from the VA in the 757, you already know Norfolk is a little sketchy in some areas, kind of great in others, and a lot so-so. So I was in the so-so area. I like to call it half hood, half suburbs, but that's just me. Other people got their own opinion of the area, but I say it was half hood, half burbs. But it was a great area. It was right near my family, so it was doing what I needed it to do. So that was the thing. It had what I needed, and you want to make sure your house have what you needed, because the same things that you're going to be looking for in a home that you plan to live in is the same things that a renter or a potential buyer will be looking at as well. So I was able to buy my house low. My house was actually being sold by a bank. And so because of that, it had already gone through foreclosure. So I didn't have to do a short sale, which for those that don't know, that can take a long time. Takes too many different people to agree on it. It can take 6 months to a year to close on a house if you go that route. And I didn't want to go through that. So instead of going through a short sale, I was able to buy my house, within the normal 30 days. Well, what would have been 30 days, but I was 20 and they did not want to let your girl get a house. So it actually took me a little over 60 days between going through different lenders. And, that I can tell you more about that in my story, or you can check out my interview with 1 Hour of Power that I did last week. And that, give you a little bit more insight there. So, again, on a house. So I ended up buying it for $85,000, which is nothing, because I was looking for paying less than what I was in rent and a mortgage. And so my rent at the time was $625. My mortgage ended up being $600, give or take, given escrow. Sometimes it was $612, $606, $600, whatever. So I was able to save money, and I owned a house. I now had an asset. I wasn't rich. I wasn't making a ton of money. I was working at Allstate. Some weeks I got $1,000 checks. Some weeks I got $400 checks. It just depended on my sales. And so because of that, I wasn't rich. I was a single mom just trying to make it. And I was able to have an asset that was building for me, that was able to supply me with options later on, years later, that renting just would not have given me. So this was a way for me to build wealth that I would not have been able to do any other way. I didn't have money to invest in the stock market. I didn't have anything extra to put into Bitcoin on a whim and somehow, all the stars aligned and Jesus said yes, and then boom, I hit the jackpot. I didn't even have the position to even try a risk like that, So for me, this is what is the beginning of my wealth building journey. And so I bought that house, and I'm only paying $600 a month. I'm paying less than I would in rent, and now I have this asset that has equity. When I bought my house, it was already appraised at $145,000. So I was buying it with equity built in. My house didn't need any repairs. It was move-in ready. The bank had fixed it up. They didn't fix it up fancy. I mean, it was cheap. fixes that they did that, failed over the years. But I mean, it was just minor things for a homeowner, for me to be able to fix. And I had a home warranty as well, which did help me in my first few years because um, some people will tell you don't get a home warranty. But for me, it was a lifesaver. I didn't have $10,000 in case my water heater broke. I didn't have $20,000 to replace a roof. I didn't have any of that. Now, home warranty wouldn't have covered the roof, but either way, I ain't have it. So I got a home warranty to cover my major appliances and things of that nature because there's no landlord for me to call when something breaks. I was the person that I had to call when something breaks. So getting that helped me. So I knew with my house that I had got a great inspection done, and they told me, hey, your AC unit is probably not going to last but X amount of years. Like, it's on its last leg. It's only going to last maybe a year or two. I knew that. I got the home warranty. I kept it. Within a year or two, it went kaput, and they paid for it. I was only paying maybe $500 a year, and they ended up replacing my AC unit, which can be like $10,000 or more. I mean, they just rebuilt it basically. They put in a new compressor, they put in the new Freon, whatever stuff. Like, they rebuilt the whole thing. So those are things that you need to plan for. So even if you don't have the money in savings, or you can't afford to let that money go out of your savings, have a backup plan like a home warranty. That was something that helped me to not have to deal with obstacles that can make me go bankrupt on this wealth building journey. We're trying to build money, we're not trying to lose it. So making those decisions are important because I needed to be in a position to get 100,000 plus for my for the sale of my home. You can't do that if you don't even have any extra money because it's gone away on repairs that were going to come up regardless. So plan for those whichever way you can. You got a savings and you can do it that way, great. If not, a home warranty works too. So another thing was, and then after that I got rid of my home warranty because nothing else really expensive was going to come up. So work things out the way that it works for you. So another thing was, when I decided that I was going to sell, I started talking to different realtors. Having a great realtor is everything. Okay, let me tell you this again. Having a great realtor is everything. Oh my gosh, my realtor was amazing. And I would not have been able to get as big of a profit out of my house, even in this market. Well, maybe in this market, but outside of this market without my realtor. And having a horrible realtor could have still made me lose money in this market because they wouldn't have known how to price my home. And so I could have left tens of thousands of dollars on the table with the wrong person. So get you a great realtor, please. Now, I had an amazing realtor. I interviewed several. And the ones that I interviewed initially actually didn't make the cut. To be honest, my realtor that I ended up going with was not my first choice. I met him first, and I didn't think he was big time enough. I wanted to go with somebody that sold the most houses and, was a big name realtor or something of that nature. So that's what I was looking at. And none of them worked out for me personality wise. There was one guy that made the cut I thought would be great. I recommended him to my cousin, and he was awful. He was horrible for her, and she told me, and I'm like, oh my God. So I went back to the drawing board, and I actually just went with the guy that my mortgage loan officer had recommended to me. Now, for those that don't know, my mortgage loan officer is the best ever. He's the reason why I got my first house. I had to go through 3, 4, 5 different people, and he's the only one that was able to get my house. He put in the work, had amazing customer service, just did everything above and beyond to make sure I got my first house. And so I trusted him. Someone with that great customer service, they're going to give me a great recommendation. So I trusted him, and I went with the person that he referred. Instead of going with any of those other guys that were more big time or had sold and leased the most houses, listed the most houses, instead of going with them, I went with my realtor instead, that was recommended by my already certified amazing mortgage loan officer. So get a great referral from a great person in the business. My loan officer, he's so great. I'll probably use him, or at least call him up first for every deal. I've used him for my first two. I've repaid my debt of you've been so amazing. Now I'm going to go with whatever's going to get me the lowest interest rate, but usually he can, so I'm still going to most likely go with him for any other future purchases in my rentals. But if I have to spread the wealth, so be it. So I had an amazing realtor that told me, here's the list of things you need to do to your house to get it ready to sell. This is what your house will sell for now. This is what your house will sell for once you get it done. I said, okay, taking you on. So what did I do? Did I go ahead and take that list and say, I'm not doing this, and this. I'm only going to do 3 of those things? No. Did I only do 1 or 2 of those things? No. 5? No. I did all of them. Everything he told me to do, I did it. And I checked it off one by one. I was like, hey, I got this done, and this done. What else was it? Okay, is this still needed on this list? I would be sending him pictures while I was in Home Depot or Lowe's, and I would say, hey, these are my floor options. Which one do you think will go best? These are the granite options for my kitchen. Which ones do you think will go best? Because this is my specialty. He knows what's going to sell. He knows what's going to get me the highest profit in my money. And so I trusted him. If I do everything that you told me to do to get to get the high range of money that I want, then now it's on you to go ahead and show and prove. Now, if I go ahead and just half behind it and do, pick and choose what I'm going to do on that list and then be mad at you that I don't get all the money that I was looking for, that would be on me. So I wanted to leave no room for error. It was not going to be my fault that I didn't get all the money I was looking for. So I listened to my realtor. I got a great realtor, and then I listened to him. And I did everything he told me to do on his list. I spent the money. I put it on credit cards. I did whatever I had to do to get it paid for. And then, we don't pay interest over here. So I made sure those cards were paid off in full before the due dates. And so I moved as fast as I could. We started in February of this year, 2021, with meeting with that realtor, getting the list together, and we started making the repairs in February and March. Just a little bit minor ones because we're still living in the home. And since things were not moving as fast, I said, all right, we need to move out to make the progress we need. We're a family of 5. So having 3 kids is not easy to have them live through a renovation and rehab, remodeling, and all that. Like, just not it. So luckily, we're blessed enough to have family that could help us. So we moved out of our home and moved into a rental of a family member's. And then while living there, we finished off our house. So we moved out May 1st. Our house was done in May. By the end of May, maybe the first week in June. And I only say the first week of June because we had a plumbing issue come up right when we were ready to go on the market. Funny how that stuff works out. Murphy's Law. So we did everything in May. And so I remodeled my kitchen. I remodeled my living room floor. I, redid that. I redid the carpet, replaced all the carpet upstairs and on the steps. I got a new banister put in. I remodeled the bathroom upstairs, got a new vanity and mirror put in. We got a professional cleaning done in our house. I did not do it myself. So, shout out to Extreme Cleaning because that was phenomenal. Oh my God, my stove, my oven, it was just, I was showing everybody my oven. The oven that I wasn't going to use anymore, but she did her thing. So I got that done. I just did all the steps. And I made some mistakes along the way. I got the cleaning done before the carpet was put in, so then we had to go back in and vacuum ourselves. So there was little minor mistakes made like that, but so be it. Once we put the house on the market, our realtor was able to put it up on a Thursday, and again, he priced it right because he already told us beforehand what it would be worth, and then we did everything he told us to do, and so it was worth that, and so he was able to list it at that price. And so he listed our house at, I think, 184.9, but basically around $185,000. And that was on Thursday, and on Sunday we had an offer in for $191,300. So I got a six-figure check, over $100,000 came to me in my bank account. First time, but won't be the last, I promise. So and that was just because I listened to those who were smarter than me in this area. I listened to the professionals and I went to them for help and guidance. And I had a great team. You can't do anything without a great team. I got great repairs done in my house. I repainted the outside as well. So you guys should be able to see my pictures, all the before and afters, as we're going through the process on my Instagram. You should see it under home renovations. But oh my gosh, we did the work and it was so beautiful in there. And because of that, I was able to get the largest profit out of it that I could. And so now I have that, and you're going to see more on this real estate journey because that was just the beginning. I bought my first house, sold it for over $100,000, and then bought a second house. Did not put all that money into this second house because we are going to work smarter with our money. I needed to do more than just buy another house. I needed to buy several houses. So now next year we're going to be buying a multiplex, and that's going to be helping us on our journey. My goal is a fourplex. So more doors, more rent, more money coming in, more cash flow. So that's the goal. So this is how I made over six figures on the sale of my very first home. And it's just the beginning with me in real estate. Real estate is one of the three ways to wealth that I talk about with my clients. And so it is my favorite way. I wasn't in a position to use the other methods, such as investing in stock and, with your retirement plans and things of that nature. I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to work several jobs. I just wasn't. And I'm just so blessed that real estate is here, because that is what's allowing me to be able to build my wealth for my family. So tune in next week. We're going to be doing more Money Mondays at 7 p.m. I know this one's a little late today, but for now on, it will be at 7 p.m. on Monday. We're going to be going live. I'm going to be answering your questions. I'm going to be bringing on guests. We're going to mix it up from what it was before, and make it more interesting for you. So thank you. And I look forward to sharing more of my journey with you guys along the way.